Alright, y'all. Welcome back to another edition of the Cozy Podcast. Here, my co-host, I'm Azaya, you feel me? And today we chilling with our homegirl, Kara, you feel me?
Hi.
So, yeah, to start it off, tell the people a little bit about yourself so they get a tune.
It's Kara, but that's okay.
Nah, my bad.
I go to A&T. I'm a junior here, and I study business management. I like to do my little thing with cooking, so eventually I want to turn that into being a personal chef one day, and yeah.
Word. So, we was just talking about it a little bit before. Tell us about your whole experience here at A&T, you feel me?
So I'm not from North Carolina, so I had to figure out A&T through like Twitter and YouTube videos and stuff like that. So that's all the information I really knew about the school. So it looked like, a happy family, everybody's a community, supporting each other and stuff like that. And when I got here, that was still true to a sense, but it's like at the same time, there's always still pros and cons of a college and growing up, and you have these young people who are coming into adulthood and they have that new freedom and they just wild out. Because I've been through that, so
Word.
I know how that is. So when I got here, it was like sort of like a fashion show and a little materialistic to a sense. But if you find the right group of people who have like the same mindset, or if you just stay to yourself, honestly, that's what I do, you'll be alright. Yeah.
Word. So, how's it been trying to balance like all of the BS that college comes with, and then trying to stay focused on like, finishing and following through with your intentions of coming here?
It's not easy because there are days where you feel like you're lazy and you don't want to do homework, you don't want to do nothing. And there are days where like you get the temptation to be like, oh, let me hit this person up instead of doing something, or let me text this person, whatever, instead of doing homework or studying when I got a test tomorrow and shit like that. That sounded a little personal, but whatever. Yeah, so it is hard to balance, but you really just gotta stay focused and remember that you're here for a reason and that you pay money for this shit. So go to class and study and don't waste your money, because you're here for a reason, and it's hopefully worth it at the end. I would hope so.
Word. So, yeah, let the people know what you're trying to do with your degree and everything, and what you're trying to do career-wise.
So, yeah, I major in business management, and I also cook. So, and my dad is my main inspiration for cooking, because he would always cook when I grew up. So I brought like the two together, and I want to be a personal chef and like cater to different events. I also like event planning as well, because my mom does that sort of stuff too, and like travel agent sort of stuff. I just like planning things together, and researching stuff as well. Yeah, so I want to put that all together and eventually move out of this location into possibly Charlotte to get that avenue going.
Yeah, we was just at Charlotte the other day. It was alright too.
Yeah.
Well, Charlotte, a cool little vibe, I ain't gonna lie.
I like
But
Charlotte.
you from Massachusetts, which got you fucking with North Carolina out of all the states, you feel me?
Well, first I wanted to get away from the cold. I knew that. I was originally supposed to go for college to UNLV in Las Vegas, but my parents were scared and they wanted me to stay home for like 2 years just to get the college experience and figure out like what I want to do. So I stayed home for 2 years. And then while I was home, I was looking up different colleges, and I found A&T. And like I said, the information I gathered from like Twitter and YouTube, and I did look at the website, and it looked like a good school, and it looked like they had a good business program, and it was HBCU too, so I like the fact about that. So I came down here, and it was a big culture shock, like, cause people in Mass ain't as friendly as people down here. And I feel like y'all would know that too, because you're not. Yeah. So people walking up to me and just talking to me was just like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, we was just talking to the last person we did the podcast with, telling them, like, you got to be the person up in Jersey to, like, initiate a conversation sometimes, because people are that to themselves and, you know, non-friendly that they ain't trying to really speak that much. Down here, it's the opposite. You could be walking to the store and then like 2, 3, 5 people probably will say hi to you along the way. So it's a whole different vibe.
It is.
That's part of the reason why you want to stay like right here, just cause like this was the area you was introduced to that at.
Yeah, definitely. I've been to Florida before too, and they were nice like that. I think it's just that southern hospitality type stuff.
So where you see your life taking you for real?
Well, obviously the chef stuff, but if I had to say, like, in what aspect?
Well, shit. I guess you could answer this question too along with it. Like, how do you feel about life, and like, do you feel like you have a purpose? And you feel me? Like, what is it exactly?
Okay. My main goal, honestly, as of now, is just peace. Just finding peace. Whether it's like, obviously within myself, because I don't want to have to depend on anybody to make me happy, or depend on anybody for my peace or whatever. But I don't know my purpose as of now, but I do know that I like to help people. So I feel like it has something to do with helping people. And I feel like whether I want to or not, it's just like I help somebody without knowing. Like, it's not intentional, if that makes sense.
So at the end of the day, you feel like just helping others is your purpose type thing?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just a giver. Yeah.
That's something that you notice like throughout different instances, or like something that you just recently come to realize?
I've noticed it throughout different instances, and I would have to stop myself and be like, okay, if the person is not giving the same energy you are, then you have to let that go. Because it's not good for your energy, so.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
That energy shit is big.
It's real.
Big or small interactions, you feel me?
It's very real.
Because, shit, interacting with the wrong person could lead you down the wrong path and have you blinded, you feel me? Like, I was telling people, like, over these past couple of days, it's crazy how, like, somebody or something could come into your life and it kind of, like, block your third eye temporarily, and then you don't realize it till you're out of the situation. And I'm just, I've recently been trying to figure out, like, what is it about those certain people or things that kind of, like, blocks you in a sense. Like, how you feel about that?
Yeah. There's been people in my life that I've had to, like, and they've been, like, long-term friends that I've had to let go. And it's just, like, sometimes it has to do with, like, growth. Maybe you grow out of the person. Or sometimes you just, like you said, once you distance yourself, you realize, oh, okay, maybe I wasn't looking at the person for who they really were. And you have to let that go. I recently had an instance where that happened. I think during the summertime, where an old friend of mine said some reckless shit, but I had to let that go. Um, and then when I first got here as well, there was these group of girls that I used to hang out with that didn't their mindset wasn't in the right place, or wasn't where mine was at. Um, they would focus on like material stuff and boys and all that other stuff, and I had to distance myself from that. So you really have to place yourself with the right group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. How has it been trying to, find those type of people here at the T, coming into a whole new setting?
It's been tough. It's been real tough. I still struggle with it too, cause I don't mind being alone, but being alone and being lonely are two different things, and that's what I struggle with, the lonely part. Like, I can be fine by myself here all day, talking to nobody all day. I'll be chill. But if you feel like you have nobody to talk to, or you feel like you're alone in your situation, especially when you're not from here, that's the difficult part, because all your friends and family are back home and you can't be right next to them. You have to call them on the phone to communicate. So that's the biggest challenge for me.
So how important is you got questions, on?
Nah, y'all trying. I'm listening.
I was about to say, how important is family and shit to you?
Very important. Yeah.
Or you consider some of the people that you come across with in life, whether it be a close friend or family friend or whatever, do you consider them real family?
You have to. It takes a lot for me to consider you family if you're not really blood. Like, a lot. Obviously, like, honesty, loyalty, like the basic shit that it means to be a true friend, I guess. But I do have people in my life that are friends that I would consider family. And those are people I can just hit up right away and they'll help me with any problem or whatever. But down here, I wouldn't say that much for real. I would consider them friends, but I wouldn't extend to the point of calling them fam.
So now that you're about to graduate and everything, when you take that next jump into you from your adulthood, how do you see yourself transitioning, you feel me, with everything that you know now and the type of person that you're trying to grow into, you feel me?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm excited for it, but I'm nervous at the same time, but I feel like that's normal. I don't really know how I imagine it to happen. I just know it's gonna happen. And I'm putting that in the air. So I don't have a set plan for it, because life always does some tricky ass stuff, and plans get ruined, money gets taken, all this other crap happens. So I can't predict what's really gonna happen, and I never really predict what's gonna happen, because life always just changes that for you. But I just know it's gonna happen. As long as it happens, I don't care how.
So you feel like this is all planned out, scripted in a sense, or do you feel like we have true free will over you feel me, everything?
I feel like it's scripted in a sense, but because we obviously live in a capitalist society, So it's gonna be scripted in a sense. You're limited on what you can and cannot do, especially being people of color. You're limited on what you can and cannot do. Especially in the business world, it's hard for us to get out there. But where am I going with this?
No, you good.
But yeah, it's hard to get out there. So I just got a brain fart.
Nah, but like, you feel like it's gonna be like, are you discouraged in any kind of way? Because a lot of people are kind of like, oh, graduation's coming up. You feel me? Like, they're kind of like antsy because they don't have like anything secured, you know, whether it be an internship or a job, and it's just like, how do you feel about, you know, the different pressures and how you like approaching it type of thing?
I wouldn't say discouraged, but I know it's gonna take like a lot of work after I graduate to get something done. That's why you have to start early, like now, in order to sort of get what you want going. Also, networking a lot really helps. If you know the right people, you can get far. Sometimes knowing the right people can get you further than actually like having that skill. So talking to people definitely helps when it comes to getting yourself out there and stuff like that. And
so
yeah, that's probably like the main
just networking
things. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if I answered the question. That's why I'm thinking so hard.
Nah, you definitely did.
When your type of food your pops used to make for you, or what type, not type of food, but like, what's some of your favorite dishes from him?
He used to make like chicken cordon bleu, which is like chicken, and you cut it open, and you have ham and cheese, and you roll it up, and you bake it, and that shit buzz.
Word?
Yeah. He used to make some bomb ass steak, and
so he taught you how to cook, or you just used to watch him and learn on your own?
both. Yeah.
How come you didn't come out with none with food? You don't think you cooked that well, or you just ain't feeling it?
I cook well. I fuck with it. I used to sell plates. I stopped because I got car problems, so I couldn't deliver it to nobody.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna just when I do like, I'm gonna start selling candy fruit. So when I do that, I'm gonna just have pick up until I get my car back. But yeah, that cooking stuff.
When you plan on doing that?
I love it.
When you plan on starting that?
The candy fruit, like next week.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Starting that shit soon.
Y'all gonna be here next week?
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Yeah, niggas gonna be here next week. You feel me? But I was about to ask, like, what was it about seeing your pops cooking and stuff that got you inspired to do it on your own?
His love for it, cause his mom used to teach him how to cook, and he would watch her and all that stuff. So I guess it's like a generational thing. When I have kids, they gonna watch me cook and pass that on.
So that's why you feel like the family aspect is important too?
Yeah.
Because of the tradition and everything. So how you feel about, you know, it's good stuff that get passed down through the generations, but how you feel about generational curses? You feel me? Having to do with those and, you know, wanting to do better for, like, you know, yourself and the people that come after you.
Right. It's just important to have those conversations with your family about it. Whether that's like have a talk in the room or whatever. I've done that with my family because we've been through some stuff. Because every family is not perfect. Um, or whether that's just like go to therapy, I guess. I never been to therapy, but I heard that helps a lot of families and stuff like that. So it's mainly just having an adult conversation and not treating each other, especially for parents who treat their children like children when they're not children anymore. Like, and I've been through that. Like, I'm in my 20s now. I'm not a child. I know how you say things affect me now. Like, I'm not just gonna eat that up anymore.
So when did you like? Cause you feel me? I feel like everybody kind of goes through that realization at different moments. So when was that realization for you?
When I got to college, when I had that freedom, I came back home and still wanted that freedom. Just like, nah, you're not talking to me like this anymore. I felt grown, but at the time, I still wasn't. I was grown.
About to ask you, like, what was it specifically? Like, was it just the fact that you were able to do whatever you wanted at any moment?
Yeah, the fact that I didn't have to text my parents and be like, I'm here, or that I'm about to go out, or what time I'm going to be home, because they probably thinking I'm just at the college right now, just in my books or whatever. So it was really that freedom that was just like turned into rebellion. It was like, nah, you're not finna talk to me like this no more.
So
crazy.
But do you think that has to play a part in like communication? Like you said, you want people to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations type shit with their families to get through those little, generational curses. But in moments like that where like, it doesn't have to be just for college, but like when people leave for moments, you feel me, whether it be, long time or short time, they often come back kind of,
Honey turkey, what type of turkey you eat?
I ate honey roasted turkey. Yeah.
But like I was saying before, like when people come back, they sometimes come back, with a different mindset. So like, you feel like at that point it's just like communication that needs to take place. But like, after that, like what do you feel like needs to happen type shit? Because sometimes, parents aren't, successful to that. You feel me? You thinking that you could do things that you weren't normally doing before. So you feel me? How you feel like that whole process, you feel me, should play out?
I feel like it definitely, and I can't speak for everybody because everybody's different, but it definitely takes a growth, and you have to make mistakes and experience like some wild stuff sometimes in order to know to be like, yeah, I'm not putting myself in that situation again, or if I get caught in that situation again, I know what to do this time, so I'm not lacking. But yeah, life is just really just a cycle of the same stuff going over and over again, and God really testing you on, are you gonna learn this time, or are you gonna make the same mistake? And if you learn this time, your path is gonna look different. But if you keep making that same mistake, you're just gonna keep following the same cycle over and over and over again.
So do you think that plays a part in like reincarnation, like same cycles type shit, like?
Yeah.
But do you think reincarnation is like us living the same life, or is it like us coming back through like lineage and stuff like that? Like, how they say when someone dies in your family, someone else is born. Like little shit like that.
I feel like reincarnation has to do with the cycle, and I feel like if you haven't fulfilled your purpose or learned your lesson in this life, in the next life you'll have to go through that same process of learning your purpose. And I feel like it gets closer each lifetime, and I feel like eventually when you find that purpose, you move forward into something bigger. Because this life, this earth life is ghetto.
We be talking about it. Me and Zai be talking about it all the time. Like, he be letting niggas know that this shit is like the lowest realm.
Yeah.
It's sad. So, shit is not, all what we make it to be. The physical is really just, really subpar compared to what we could do spiritually. I was about to ask you what you feel like the spiritual life has in store. Like, what do you feel like your envision on the afterlife would, be like?
I feel like the afterlife, that's a deep topic, for real. I'm just now getting into spirituality and figuring out what it is for real. Like this past year, I've been learning about what it is. I grew up on baptism in my family, so it's basically just like Christian values. But the spirituality stuff, it really do be making a lot of sense to me, like manifestation and these paths that people be on to find their purpose and to figure out like who they are as a person, that's soul searching. That stuff do be making sense because especially like the soul ties, when you connect with people that stay with you, it really affects like your mental. And yeah, that they're very like deep topics to talk about, and I don't want to like twist my words on anything because they're such deep topics.
No, you good.
But yeah, I mess with spirituality. I used to have a crystal, but I can't find it. I'm so mad.
So do you feel like, the numbers and everything like that really play a big part in life too? Like, you was talking about manifestation, but some people look at the spirituality spectrum differently. Some people just, cater to the chakras and everything. Some people, just dive into like the universe aspect of it all. But some people just, they dive into like the zodiacs and like those life paths and things like that. So the spectrum is kind of, it's a wide spectrum when it comes to that. But where do you feel like, you fall in line, like with your understandings of everything that you've come to know so far?
I definitely believe in the numbers in a way because I have been seeing 444 a lot, and I saw 333 yesterday, and I saw 222 a couple times. So I feel like stuff's been tricking me up. I've been looking up what they mean, but I forgot. I gotta look it up again. I think they're watching me, my guardian angel or something like that. But I feel like that aspect I do believe in. The zodiac part of it, in a sense I do, but some zodiac stuff is very vague. Like they be saying Tauruses eat a lot. I feel like a Scorpio could eat a lot. I feel like a Pisces could eat a lot.
But a lot of those things, like, are just characteristics that all of us have within us that we just, channel at different moments.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like, how much of it do you really take into account, like, as actual, facts in your life? You feel me?
Maybe like a little bit of it. I don't take a lot of it into account. Maybe just that the number stuff. And because I haven't done a lot of research on it, like I just started this year, I can't really be sure on what's 100% true or what's not. So it's a tricky subject because people do be spreading false information, especially online. So.
Word. So you say you grew up in the church and everything. So how did that play a part in your life, and like where do you stand on things with that?
I didn't go to church much, but my parents, we it was like a Baptist sort of household in the church. They're more religious. Like now they're super religious. They go to church every Sunday, and my mom will send me like Instagram reels of pastors speaking their word and very inspirational stuff. I would say back then I more so questioned religion than I do now, because I didn't go to church as much and because it wasn't like in my ear to believe God and understand him and stuff like that. I look at God now as like, I don't look at him as a man or a woman. I just look at him as a soul figure. I feel like once you place a gender on an object, you get to classify its characteristics and stuff like that, and that just messes up the whole idea of what God's purpose is. So I don't look at God as being a man or a woman. I think that idea is just dumb to begin with. So now I look at God as just like a soul, pretty much, like an entity for everybody in their own path, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to be like quoting Kanye when he said I'm God, but I feel like everybody, we're built in his image.
No, yeah, we definitely are. It says that even in the Bible, for people that read the Bible. But yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying, because you could definitely channel your higher self and your lower self, and like, you know, everything is all about the mind at the end of the day, because the only thing that's really real in this realm right now is the mind and what we really bring to life. So if we want to live in a heavenly mindset and a heavenly life, then we just, program our mind to do that. And that's all it is. It's just programming. You feel me? Because when it comes to like the spiritual stuff and the religious stuff, I could see certain aspects of it being valid for people, but it's really only in cadence to their life type shit. Like, everybody got a different path.
Yeah.
And so like, there's people out in Europe that have their own practices. We have our own practices as different individuals. You feel me? Different areas have their own practices. So it's like, who's to say who's right or wrong? You know, what's right to us may be wrong to them, and vice versa. So everything is, it's a balance between everything at the end of the day. Like, this whole life shit is a spectrum. You feel me? And it's just people live on the different ends of it. That's all.
I agree.
Yeah. But do you feel like that carries over into like the next life? Like, not talking reincarnation, but like the actual like afterlife. Like, do you feel like that spectrum still applies? Like, do you feel like, for instance, if you are a person that believes that, you feel me, heaven is, you feel me, in the clouds, and the skies above, like, the traditional type of image that they give out for heaven, and when you pass on, that's what you envision. When you're passing on, do you feel like that's where you'll be, or do you feel like, some things are inevitable type shit?
I feel like it depends on the mindset. I feel like if you always have the right mindset and you speak it into existence, the world or the universe is gonna give you all the stuff you want 10 times fold. But if you have a bad mindset and you go about life in a negative way, then you're gonna get what you say or get what you put out there. And I feel like if you speak positive in the next life and you have a good mindset and you keep that going, which is hard because nobody's perfect, but overall, if you just do your best, pretty much, because that's all we can do. Then I feel like in the afterlife I feel like there's different levels. I feel like there's different realms to it, depending on what stage you're at when you pass on. So I feel like if you're in a very low depressive state, when you pass on, you'll be in a realm that has you go through that process again until you figure it out, and then you move on to reincarnation, and then you have to go through the same process and figure it out until you get to like a higher realm. And you,
so it's just like trial and error type of thing till you perfect who you really are, or until you reach like enlightenment type shit within yourself. I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, so you find your purpose.
So you think we just keep on leveling up until we reach like God level status, like literally what we envision God as? You feel like that's like the outcome of the leveling up.
I feel like if we're created in His image, our goal is to get to that point where we become Him, or not even. Why am I saying Him? Until we become God.
It's an interesting outlook. So what type of mark are you trying to leave on this physical realm while you're here?
I feel like I just want to be able, like I said before, to help people, to know that when people are down, that I don't say it can be the one to lean on, because that's a big burden to carry, especially when you have stuff going on in your life. You can't always be that person to be like, let me carry all these problems, and especially when that's your own problems. But it's good to feel like a reliable source. Like, it's good to have people know that they can rely on you and don't have to question like if you're a loyal person or not. And I feel like that's the kind of mark I want to leave. And if people will know if I don't like mess with you, like I'll communicate. I'm not a type of person who would just like, especially if it's a strong relationship, I'm not gonna just ghost it. We'll talk about it, we'll explain like our differences and how we feel, what went wrong, where went wrong, stuff like that. But yeah.
So you got any final remarks before we end it?
Let's see. Final remarks. I think I don't. Follow me on Instagram. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, you did. I was gonna give you time to let the people know that too. You feel me?
Yeah, you can follow my Instagram at Cashy Cara. Cashy with a K, Cara with a K. Pretty simple. That's all I use pretty much. So yeah. That's
right. Word. Let the people know about your little business ventures that you got coming up with the food and everything.
Yes, I'm gonna be selling candied fruit next week. I want to say around Thursday, Friday. You
got any like plans in the future that you want to come into fruition when it comes to the food stuff?
Yeah. Like I said before, the catering. I have a friend. I'm gonna shout him out. His name is Kai. He does Vibes Kitchen. He be doing that stuff too.
Yeah, that's our man.
So I'm trying to get like that. That's the goal. So yeah, I'm trying to get like him pretty much, in a sense, catering to people. Also loving people taste my food and they have a good ass reaction. So look out for some food coming soon. I might be selling some plates soon too.
Word.
So plates within the next month, but that candy fruit next week for sure. So if you go to NCAT, hit me up, and I got you.
Yeah,
Hopefully next time we do the podcast, we can eat some of your food while we doing the
nah, for real though, really show niggas how you get
yeah.
down. We appreciate you being on the podcast though, you feel me? Taking the time out, you feel me, to talk your shit. And, you know, letting people know where your mind at.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Make sure y'all follow her on the gram and everything. Support her business. Follow us on the gram at Culture Canada. Subscribe to the page. And we're going to catch you on the next episode. Yeah.